After that conversation around gender and politics, one person who has much experience of being a woman in our politics and in leadership roles has also already suggested that South Africa is not ready for a woman president. She's Patricia de Lille, leader of the Good Party. They have one member of the Western Cape Legislature. She, I understand, will be sworn in as the Member of Parliament in the National Assembly tomorrow. She's also the outgoing Minister of Tourism. Minister de Lille, good afternoon to you and thank you for your time. Why do you think our politics is sexist? Where's the problem coming from? And you're allowed to say the problem is the men.
Sibobo, I think that we have done very well with women representation in Parliament. We are in, I think, the first 10 countries of the world in terms of women representation. Where we've not done very well is in terms of women leadership of political parties. Unfortunately, in the 7th administration, out of all the 18 political parties, I will be the only one led by a woman. And I think that all political parties in Parliament will have a responsibility that we tackle the issue of women, especially like gender-based violence, the patriarchal society that we live in. Because when we fought in the struggle against apartheid, it was not just about fighting against racial discrimination, but also against a patriarchy, because the Nationalist Party regime was profoundly patriarchal. And I think the issue of race and gender, we must be fixated with both of them to make sure that we begin to change our society.
Minister, this may be the last time I speak to you as a minister. Look, a lot's happening in our politics, so it might not be the last time. Are you joining the government of national unity? Do you know what's going to happen tomorrow when there's a president being elected?
No, we did have a meeting like all other political parties on Sunday with the ANC. They presented to us their draft declaration or their draft text that they're going to present to their National Executive Committee. And they asked for our inputs. And of course, we gave our views. And they were telling us that once they have concluded this and it's approved by the NEC, they will then make the text available to all political parties. So I have said to them that I will wait for the text and for the whole concept of government of national unity. And then my national executive is on standby, and we will put it to them tonight still. But in terms of the principle of a government of national unity, as a party, we don't have a problem with that.
I must just ask, it's the first time you and I have spoken since the election result, one seat in the National Assembly. You must be a little disappointed with that. And I wondered if maybe you yourself have a lot of name recognition. Everyone knows who Patricia de Lille is. Everyone knows to duck when the boxing gloves are on. But I did wonder if maybe you'd battled as the party Good to create a distinct political identity. It's actually becoming harder, I think, for smaller parties to create a distinct political identity in our politics.
Well, Steve, this election was completely different. The terrain was just completely different. There were a lot more political parties participating. And, like it goes within the opposition space, that there's a lot of cannibalizing where we're not growing the opposition base. People just move from the one opposition party to the other. Yes, we have put up a good campaign. We had a good message to say, stop the suffering. We put emphasis on the majority of our population that are poor and vulnerable. We campaigned for the basic income grant. We campaigned, against gender-based violence and femicide. And but as it goes, like in 2019, It is the electorate that will do the sifting. And you've seen it again in this election that, out of the 50-odd parties, 18 of them survived. But we feel that, we're only 5 years old now. We have to do more in terms of groundwork. We will be having a strategic session soon and discuss the way forward and the future of the party. So it is just one of those things that our democracy is growing and it's maturing. And so I won't blame the voters or anybody else. But, I will also not just give up hope.
What do you think the future holds for you in the Good Party? You'll go to the National Assembly. To try and create an impact as one person is quite hard to do. Some people have been able to do that. Now, I remember your role when you were, if I may remember, at in the Pan-Africanist Congress at the time, the arms deal, that document, all of that. So one person can play an important role. Do you think it's still possible now, though? I think our Parliament is going to be louder.
Yes, I think so too. And, for me, I have always been outnumbered in the trade union movement as the only leader for a political party that's female, but I've never been outmuscled. And I will be in our strategic session with the party that's coming soon. We will be discussing the role and function. We have been mentoring and training a number of young people in the party. They need to gain more experience. And so I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, but I will take my guidance from the party. I have been elected unopposed last year, November. So as the party structures, we will evaluate everything. And then we will then come forward with a plan.
You know Parliament well. You've been in and out of Parliament. You know what happens. I don't know what will happen. You may know more than me. You probably do. We may get a speaker who's not from the ANC for the first time. Apart from yourself, is there anyone, when you look at all of the other political parties, anyone you think would make a good speaker? Anyone you would recommend, ma'am?
No, Steve, I won't go there. I think for me what was important was that, we come with a plan. We come with a program of action and the principles. And once you have that structure follow, so the structure must fit into the function and the plans that, that the ANC is now putting forward to the nation. But I'm not expecting any position. I have played my roles over the past 30 years. I've been there since day one. I've got the experience. I've served my country in a capacity as a minister, MEC, a mayor. And so I bring a lot of experience. So really, I think it's up to the parties in the government of national unity that must decide, how they want to share the various responsibilities in Parliament.
Patricia de Lille, thank you very much indeed. Outgoing Minister of Tourism, leader of the Good Party, and one of the people to take an oath tomorrow to return to the National Assembly as the sole representative of that party.